Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I never supported or never liked Bernie Sanders. I think that he is sincerely believing in his communist agenda, obviously, which I respect, to die for your convictions or to live for your convictions. And Bernie Sanders did not hide the fact that he was a communist and he was this and that. And he's also Jewish. So, interestingly enough, he comes out and he makes a statement that some people would not dare to touch. Let me show you. So, Bernie Sanders says that Israel's siege of Gaza is a serious violation of international law. End quote. So this is from The Hill. So Senator Bernie Sanders on Wednesday criticized Israeli forces for cutting off electricity, food, fuel, and water to the more than 2 million residents of Gaza, calling it a serious violation of international law, something I said as well, that will cause hundreds of thousands of children to suffer. And I'm quoting, the targeting of civilians is a war crime, no matter who does it. Well, Israel's blanket denial of food, water, blanket, and other necessities to Gaza is a serious violation of international law and will do nothing but harm innocent civilians, end quote, said Sanders, a leading progressive voice in Congress and former presidential candidate, in a statement. Well, these guys, I don't know if they all already call him a self-hating Jew or not, but that basically when you have Jewish people daring to criticize or pointing out something that some fellow do wrong, they're called immediately, self-hating and so on. I remember when I mentioned this story, I told this story a few times here. I met those 4 Israelis in the mountains when I visited Romania some years back. And they were in the army, 3 of them. There were 3 men and 1 woman. And when I discussed with them, I would like to know, learn, figure out things. I don't know why they were visiting Romania, but anyway, that's a different story. And when I mentioned Noam Chomsky or Howard Zinn or Norman Finkelstein, these guys almost went ballistic, almost flew back to Israel that night. We're in the middle of the mountains, so they couldn't, but they were so angry, not with me, but they were starting spitting and calling those guys idiots and Chomsky and Zinn, and they hated those guys. They call themselves hating Jews and so on. So I'm assuming Bernie got that badge of honor as well, which, good for him. Sanders praised the United States for rightly offering support to Israel in responding to the attacks by Hamas militants that have killed Papa. Okay, we must also insist on restraint from Israeli forces attacking Gaza and work to secure United Nations humanitarian access. Correct. Let us not forget that half of the 2 million people in Gaza are children. Children and innocent people do not deserve to be punished for the acts of Hamas. Well, what if God commands that? Bernie, what are you going to say about that one now? Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on Monday ordered a complete siege of Gaza and said such severe tactics are justified against human animals, end quote. We will fight, and listen to that. We will fight, I'm quoting, we are fighting against human animals and we act accordingly, he said. There will be no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. Militants from Hamas, the political group that controls Gaza and is recognized as a terrorist group in the United States of America, attacked Israel on Saturday. Okay, well, what do you think? As I said many times before, until the Israeli will not draw enough blood from those guys over there, regardless, they will not stop. The United States over there to make sure that Israel achieves that goal. It's not to help. It's over there, it's going to give them money and weapons and all that. It will be part of all this garbage. But they're mainly over there to make sure that others don't intervene to stop Israel from doing that. Because, I've seen this in life. I remember when I was a kid, that's the way it was. you have scuffles in the schoolyard. We used to play in a schoolyard, soccer, tennis, chase girls, do whatever we were doing over there in the schoolyard after the classes. So, or Saturday or Sunday, because we didn't have Saturday off in communist times. So anyway, we were playing over there, and sometimes you get in fights. You spit on one another, you fight, you throw rocks, you do whatever you need to do. And obviously things would be solved by this mostly. And if you get beaten, you bring your brother, you bring your cousin, you bring your gang, and you beat the other guy, and the other guy brings his group, and then never ending, I guess. Sometimes escalated to this position, sometimes it didn't, so you have to watch your back sometimes. So the story I want to say, it was one of my colleagues that he got smacked by another guy from our class, I think, our classroom. He got smacked. I can't remember exactly whose fault that was, but nevertheless. So this kid's father showed up, ran, and caught with the kids. So the kid left, got his father. His father came. They were. I saw that. They were witnessed it. He came. He snacked, grabbed the other kid, the father, held the kid so his child would beat the kid while the father was holding that kid. So his kid was beating mercilessly the other kid, because the kid smacked his kid. So the father is United States of America, this is Israel, and this right here is, I don't know if it's the Palestinian people or it's just Hamas. It's not only Hamas. So United States will stay over there like the father, and nobody would intervene from us other kids. Now I remember, if this kid would have a stronger father, after this beating he would go and get his father, come with an axe and chop that kid's father's head off. But hey, it didn't happen that way. But you have a father here to intervene. United States is right there. Who? Russia? China? For what? They look at Israel issue like what the fuck is this? Jesus Christ. Yuck. That's how they look at it. Do you think like, oh my God, we care so much for this? And it's just a political, how do you call it, token exchange. That's all it is. They say, okay, let the United States do over there because we're going to do our hanky-panky here. And the United States seems like they think they can do whatever they want wherever. And when the other bully boy's turn comes, United States doesn't allow that to happen. And then they fight in Ukraine, obviously. It's United States versus Russia over there. United States with his weasels. But if someone else helps Russia, no, you can't help. I'm going to hold everybody else at bay, so we can all beat you up. Anyway, that story with that kid, I know his name, I know him, just stuck in my mind, and I don't know. I thought it was very unfair. Because it was, we're kids. You watch your back, you keep your mouth shut, you bring your father, and the father not beats the kid, smacked the kid a few times, but held it for his kid to beat the other kid while this guy, so the kid could not beat up his kid. And that was the justice the father was instilling in the son. Even if you're weaker, bring someone stronger and you're gonna beat someone stronger than you. Okay, well, don't let yourself be beaten up. How about you get stronger? Can you? Or how about you don't mess up with these guys? But that was anyway, no rules over there. Do I think that was fair? It bothered me that the father held the boy. That would bother me the most. If let's say the father would have come and smacked the kid, it would have been better than hold the kid so your kid can kick this. What the fuck is this? Your kid is a fucking loser. That's what it is. What is this? He just reinforced his, loser attitude. What was that? If the father comes and smacks, I understand that. But anyway, what I would have done, I would have waited for that kid later and would fuck him up and get another beating and fuck him up again. But probably like that will go further and further if you don't have a father to come over and take care of that father. But that's the way it was in Romania. No police involved or anything like that. So the same here, my friends. Bernie Sanders, good job. I applaud whatever he said because I think that that's accurate. When the behavior meets the term, fits the term, then what do you want? You want me to be unjust and ignore? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they want us to do. To keep our mouths shut if we don't support that. And if we say something, then they try to threaten us, and they try to, you know, use us as examples if they succeed to temporarily kneel us. Temporarily. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.